Hello, my friend. Welcome to Awakening Dharma Tales. Are you feeling stressed, overwhelmed, or weighed down by everything around you? If so, I invite you to stay with me, take a deep breath, and listen as I share some simple yet powerful tips to help you find peace and balance in the midst of life's chaos. In today's episode, Heal Yourself and Watch Your Life Transform. We'll explore ways to bring more clarity, calm, and mindfulness into your day. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you won't miss any of the inspiring stories and wisdom we'll share next. Have you ever had one of those days where everything seems fine on the outside, but inside you're carrying a quiet storm? Maybe you're exhausted, overwhelmed, or just tired in a way that no amount of sleep seems to fix. You smile for the world, go through your routine, but deep down, there's a heaviness that no one else sees. If that feels familiar, I want you to know something right now. You are not alone. Truly, you're not. So often we search for peace in the world around us, through success, relationships, or distractions, thinking that if we just fix everything out there, we'll finally feel okay in here. But healing doesn't work like that. Real peace, real strength, and real love, they don't come from outside. They already exist within you. They've been there all along, patiently waiting for you to notice them. This video is more than just words on a screen. I want this to feel like a soft, safe space, a moment for your heart to breathe. Here, your emotions are welcome, your exhaustion is understood, and your soul is invited to rest. So take a deep breath. Really, pause with me for a second. Inhale slowly, and exhale. Feel that? That's your body reminding you that even in this exact moment, you are alive and you are worthy of peace. You don't have to fix yourself before you can love yourself. You don't have to earn rest. You deserve it simply because you exist. In this journey, I'll share timeless lessons inspired by Buddhist wisdom to help you reconnect with that calm, unshakable part of yourself. So stay with me. This might be the first step to remembering just how strong and whole you already are. Life has a way of testing us, doesn't it? One day, everything feels calm and steady, and the next, it's like we're standing in the middle of a storm, unsure if the skies will ever clear. But here's the truth. Storms don't last forever. Neither does the pain you're feeling right now. In fact, one of the most powerful Buddhist lessons teaches us exactly that: impermanence. Everything is in motion. Nothing stays the same forever. Seasons change, the tides rise and fall, and the sun always returns after the darkest night. So if you're feeling stuck in sorrow, remember, this isn't your whole story. It's just one chapter, and as time moves forward, so will you. In fact, some of your greatest strengths are being formed right here, in this very moment, through challenges you never thought you could handle. But to truly heal, we have to do something that feels completely unnatural. We have to stop running from our pain. Most of us are experts at distractions, scrolling through social media, drowning ourselves in work, or pretending everything's fine when it's not. I know I've done it too. But pain has a message for us. When we stop fighting it, when we sit with it and say, yes, this hurts, something shifts. Pain isn't here to destroy you. It's here to teach you. The very wounds you're afraid to face could be the doorway to transformation. And part of that transformation comes from something many of us struggle with: self-compassion. We're so good at being kind to others, yet so harsh with ourselves. Have you ever noticed that inner voice that criticizes everything you do? You should have done better. You're not enough. Imagine if you spoke to a friend that way. Would they feel loved? Probably not. The Buddha once said, You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. Let that sink in. Healing begins when you decide to treat yourself like someone worth cherishing. Start small. Smile at yourself in the mirror. Forgive yourself for mistakes. Remind yourself daily, I am enough. This isn't arrogance, it's self-respect. And when you choose self-love, you create an unshakable foundation that no one else can take away. Another step in this journey is learning the medicine of silence. Our world is noisy, not just with traffic, notifications, and chatter, but with the constant noise inside our own heads. Silence can feel uncomfortable at first because it reveals emotions we've buried deep down. But if you can sit quietly, breathe deeply, and listen, you'll find that silence is not empty. It's full of answers. In stillness, we meet ourselves again. We begin to see clearly, think calmly, and reconnect with the part of us that has been quietly waiting to be heard. This brings us to one of the most profound lessons of all. Life only exists in the present moment. Most of us live everywhere except here, rehashing the past, worrying about the future, and missing what's right in front of us. Can you relate? Maybe you're physically with your loved ones, but mentally you're lost in yesterday's regrets or tomorrow's anxieties. What would happen if, just for a moment, you truly came back to now? Right now, there is breath in your lungs. Right now, you are safe. Right now, this moment is enough. Healing happens when we stop abandoning the present moment and start valuing it as the gift it is. Of course, to truly heal, we have to trace our pain back to its roots. Let me tell you a story. There was a boy named Arjun. One day in school, he made a simple mistake. Instead of gentle correction, his father humiliated him in front of his classmates. The laughter of his peers echoed in his ears, and shame settled deep into his heart. Years later, Arjun grew up, got a good job, and appeared successful. But every time someone criticized him, even slightly, that same wave of anxiety returned. People called him too sensitive, but they couldn't see the old wound he carried. Many of us are like Arjun. We bury pain and pretend it's gone, but it whispers through our fears, reactions, and insecurities. The Buddha taught, to understand is to be free. When we trace pain to its origin, we stop fighting symptoms and finally start healing the root. Another thief of peace is comparison. With just a few swipes on your phone, you're flooded with images of other people's perfect lives, exotic vacations, dream homes, picture-perfect relationships, and suddenly your own life feels small. But that's an illusion. You're comparing your behind the scenes with someone else's highlight reel. The Buddha said, there's no comparison between the sun and the moon. They shine when it's their time. You too will shine, exactly when you're meant to. Stop measuring your journey by someone else's clock. You're not behind, you're right on time.
One of the most liberating acts you can ever choose is forgiveness. Not just for others, but for yourself. Anger feels protective, like holding on to it gives you power. But anger is poison. The Buddha said, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing harm. It means setting yourself free from carrying it. And just as important, you need to forgive yourself. We've all made mistakes. We've all wished we'd done things differently. But self-forgiveness is the key to inner peace. You can't heal if you're constantly punishing yourself. A practical tool to help with all of this is mindfulness. Our bodies aren't the only ones getting tired. Our minds are exhausted too. We live in constant motion, rarely stopping to breathe or truly see the world around us. Mindfulness is simply choosing to be fully present. You can practice it anywhere, while brushing your teeth, drinking your morning coffee, walking in nature, or even talking with a loved one. When you're fully present, life feels richer, calmer, and more connected. And finally, a lesson I love. Every morning is a fresh start. Each day is a blank page, but too often we carry yesterday's pain and regrets into today. What if you woke up tomorrow and chose to see it as a new chance, a chance to forgive, to heal, to try again? The Buddha said, every morning is a new beginning. That's not just poetic, it's deeply practical. You don't have to be defined by your past. You can choose peace, love, and presence today. These 10 lessons aren't just spiritual ideas, they're practical roadmaps for a calmer, more meaningful life. Healing doesn't happen all at once. It happens moment by moment, choice by choice. And every time you choose presence, compassion, and forgiveness, you take another step toward peace. As we come to the end of this video, I want you to pause for a moment and really take this in. Everything in life is temporary. Every storm, every heartache, every sleepless night, none of it lasts forever. And the same is true for our happiest moments too. Life is always shifting, like the tide rolling in and out, like the changing colors of the sky at sunrise and sunset. Nothing stays the same forever. And that's not something to fear, it's something to embrace. Because when we truly accept the impermanence of life, we realize that our pain is not permanent either. That heaviness you're carrying right now is not your entire story. It's just one chapter, one scene in a much larger journey. The suffering you feel today will one day be a memory, and in its place will be growth, wisdom, and maybe even a quiet sense of gratitude for the strength you discovered along the way. So much of our suffering comes not from pain itself, but from fighting against it, wishing things were different, clinging to the way things should be. But the more we resist change, the more we prolong our suffering. The moment we choose to soften, to breathe, and to accept life as it is, healing begins. You don't have to have everything figured out. You don't have to rush. Sometimes peace is simply allowing yourself to be exactly where you are and trusting that this moment is not forever. That's one of the most beautiful teachings of Buddhism. Life is like a river, always flowing, never stagnant. You are not stuck. You are not broken. You are simply evolving. And this chapter will lead you to another one. This is why I encourage you to keep exploring these timeless lessons, not as abstract philosophy, but as a way of living with more compassion, more kindness, and more courage.
If today's message spoke to you, take a moment to share it with someone you love. You never know how much a simple reminder like this could mean to someone silently struggling. And if you'd like to walk this path with me, learning more about mindfulness, inner healing, and Buddhist wisdom, make sure to subscribe to this channel. This space is for you, a safe corner of the internet where your heart is welcome to rest.